If you would like to feel better this winter, then you need this episode. And it's about conscious herbal remedies to optimize your wellness in this episode with Christian Rasmussen. And what's so special about Christian is that he's an exceptional entrepreneur, and he will tell us all about his journey to building a sustainable, eco-friendly business that is making an impact worldwide. So tell us, Christian, what's the secret to your success? And how did you start this particular business? And tell us more about what it does.
Welcome to Awakened Titans podcast with Lily Patrascu. Mind-blowing conversations with influential business titans sharing how you can manifest abundance, love, joy, success through quantum awakening, quantum manifestation, quantum healing, quantum miracles, exponential business growth, and innovative products and services.
Yeah. So I mean, I've always been really interested in plants and plant medicine and ethnobotany and how various cultures have utilized plants throughout history. I've done a lot of experimentation throughout my teens and my 20s. I was getting off of benzodiazepines in 2019. Benzodiazepines are typical anti-anxiety medication that people get on, like Xanax, Klonopin, Ativan, Valium, which are some of the most difficult drugs to get off of in the world. It's a long story, but I'll shorten it. I was in withdrawal for a year. It's really brain damage at that point. It's not withdrawal. And I was suffering immensely, looking at checking out of life. I was not really willing to continue looking at years and years of this. And I found these beautiful red mushrooms with white dots on them growing on this hike that I was on. And there was this unbelievably potent magnetic pull towards them. And it seemed like they were almost speaking to me in a sense, asking me to pick them and study them and see what they could do for me. And it also seemed like they wanted me to do something for them as well. And I picked them and I went to the house and I did some research, and there was no good information online, except for one woman who was claiming that they used these mushrooms to heal her brain when she was going through benzodiazepine withdrawal. And I ended up, after a lot of research, I ended up deciding to try them out. And within a couple weeks of microdosing, it seemed like I had healed 80-90%, which would have taken years to do otherwise, which was absolutely miraculous. I've always been in business. So I was in real estate throughout my 20s. I went to school for physics, and then I got into real estate after the '08 housing crisis happened. And I was starting a cannabis company at this point in time. So I reached out to this woman who is, publicly talking about these mushrooms online and asked if I could sponsor a video, which I did. And her and I ended up getting close. And 6 months later, she actually asked me to start selling here in the States because nobody was doing it. And yeah, we've grown to be the largest Amanita retailers, very likely in the world, for sure in the States here. And we now offer a ton of other wonderful plant medicines and herbal remedies for various things.
Thank you. So tell us about what is the type of expected outcome, and why should people consider using these kind of plant medicine?
Yeah, it really depends on which product or offering or medicine you're looking for or looking at. Amanita muscaria, as I mentioned, is our bread and butter. That's the typical red and white mushroom, the Mario mushroom, the Alice in Wonderland mushroom. It's the mushroom emoji on your phone. It's the most prevalent and iconic mushroom in the world. Most people get into these things for various, generally mental health things. So things like anxiety, depression, PTSD, various healing of deep-seated traumatic injuries or wounds. There's a lot of physical ailments that a lot of these work really well for. Things like Parkinson's. We've heard a lot of stories about Amanita working really well for Lyme disease. It's a really, really broad range, but generally it's mental health that people are looking at. Things the heaviest hitters with the majority of the products that we offer are insomnia, depression, anxiety. Those are kind of the really big ones that people utilize it for. And then getting off of prescription medication. I mean, Amanita, for instance, works very similarly into the brain to something like an anti-anxiety medication or something like alcohol. So there's a lowering of inhibitions and the ability to open up and be more free and relaxed, all while not having the negative side effects that a lot of these other substances have. So yeah, it really depends on what one's looking for, but generally, if anybody's looking for any help in any area of their life, like something that we offer will be able to help with that.
Thank you. Now, I know you cannot make any sort of guarantees, but tell us about what have been the general expected results that people have already had from using some of your plant medicine, and how many people have already purchased some of your plant medicines as well.
Yeah, I mean, we have tens and tens of thousands of customers, very happy customers. We've probably, heard from 3,000 to 5,000 people that have utilized these products to get off of prescription medication, for example. How many we haven't heard from, I don't know. Generally, one will find, if they find their right dose and find what works for them, one will find that they're much more in tune with their body and with themselves. They're much more relaxed. They're able to, one of the things that I really love about it is it seems to give us the opportunity to choose our thought processes and to choose where our thoughts go, which gives us a really wonderful chance and opportunity to redirect how we're thinking and how we react to certain situations or expectations or anything like that. Help with, as I mentioned, help with sleep, deeper sleep, help with things like anxiety. And then another one of the really big aspects of this is lasting change through what appears to be rewiring of the neuronal networks in the brain. We don't have any data on this, unfortunately, as of now, but it seems so. Like if somebody's taking, a microdose regimen for anxiety, for instance, they might start their regimen and their anxiety might be at like a 7 on a day-to-day. When they're in the middle of this, it might be down to like a 3 maybe. But when they get done with this, it generally doesn't seem to ever go back up to 7. It seems to maybe it'll go up to 4 or 5, but it seems to create a lasting impression that one can then carry on for the rest of their lives, which is really wonderful. So in that sense, it seems like there's rewiring of the brain. And then also, various healing of these, we all come into this world with, and we all experience various traumas as we grow up, and these products seem to really help one, work through those and alleviate the pain and the suffering that comes, after we experience these.
Thank you. In terms of already existing products that have similar impact in the market, what would you compare this to? Is it similar to like nootropics, or is it something else that is kind of similar in the market? That, I think there's a really big market out there of especially like titans, people who are into peak performance, into having a really great business, body, and general life. And I find that there is a growing trend in terms of people like exploring alternative methods to feel great for a longer period. And for example, for myself, I've been ill for 10 years with sore throat and cough, and I haven't been able to heal it. And so my question was, how do your products compare to what is already out there for the similar stuff, similar kind of pain or similar ailments?
Yeah. Well, I mean, so we keep finding time and time again that Amanita is one of the most potent neurotropics in the natural world, if not the most potent. It works on the cholinergic system, just like a lot of the, smart drugs out there. And it really has a profound neurotropic effect. It also has, as I mentioned, a really profound anti-anxiety effect. So in that sense, it could be compared to things like, anti-anxiety medication, or like an extraordinarily strong cup of chamomile tea or something of that nature. And then there's also, in a sense, it could be compared to other products that one would microdose, like psilocybin. Although pharmacologically and experientially, it's a very completely different experience. It's still in somewhat of the same ballpark, in the sense that it has those types of the similar type of benefits, just from a different method of action, we'll say. But yeah, I mean, I think you could relate it to adaptogens. I mean, it's a very potent adaptogenic product as well. And I'm speaking about Amanita in particular, but it really covers most of the other products that we offer. Yeah, very potent adaptogenic, potent nootropic. potent anti-anxiety medication or natural alternative. And then there's also this like profound spiritual component to it as well, that if one is more spiritually inclined, they'll notice a spiritual quality to it as well.
Wow, that is so interesting. And does tell us what you have in terms of helping entrepreneurs to focus better. Is it still Amanita?
Yeah, Amanita would be the one to look at. Yeah, and for something like that, we would be looking at more microdosing, which is we offer capsules and gummies for microdosing. So you're taking a gummy or a capsule a couple times a day, and yeah, it tends to. And everybody's physiology is different. Some people might need a few of them. Some people might just need one. So finding dose is important too, just like with any medication or any substance that one is taking. But yeah, I think Amanita it's a really profound tool for focus and for brain, for verbal fluency or memory recall or the ability to think quick and act quick. It works really well.
Thank you. Tell us, why is this herbal remedy that you offer? Why is it conscious?
That's an interesting question. I mean, I think I could take this two ways. I think that Amanita has its own spirit and consciousness behind it. There's an aspect of it that you seem to build a resonance and a relationship with it as you continue working with it, and that seems to kind of come through in one's day-to-day, which I think is really powerful. Otherwise, it seems to be just like a really wonderful tonic and health supplement, which is in line with if one's conscious, they're looking towards their health and their spirituality and looking for personal growth and development and evolution. And this seems to hit the nail on the head with all that.
Thank you. Why would you say that this type of herbal remedy works? What's the thing that makes it work so well?
Well, there's a whole host of pharmacological activity that's going on. I mentioned it's similar to something like alcohol or Xanax in the sense of of how it works on the brain. So it has a lot of GABAergic activity, which is what these alcohol and Xanax work on the GABA receptors. It has some glutaminergic activity, which is similar actually to something like ketamine, although it does this without completely putting you into another reality. It's very grounding and centering. And one of the things about ketamine is that it induces neuroplasticity and neurogenesis, which I was talking about earlier, rewiring of the brain. And I mentioned we don't have any data on this, but it certainly seems that it has that effect. And then there's the cholinergic activity as well, which seems to help our synapses fire quicker, help us think more on our feet, and be a little bit more direct and directed in what we say and what we do.
Thank you. Did you find any kind of like interesting results for the people that have already taken it? And aside from what you've just mentioned, was there anything in terms of what they were able to do as a result of having taken the herbal remedies you offer?
Yeah, I mean, we hear stories all the time, daily, of people, like divulging their life stories and explaining like in very, very intense detail how their lives have been completely turned around. One of my favorite stories is from the early days. I had a woman who had neurological late stage Lyme disease, and she was bedridden. It was so bad. She was bedridden or couch ridden. She could barely talk. She couldn't write. She could barely read. She couldn't work. She was basically like, she watched TV day in and day out. Like that's all she could do. And her daughter got her some of these mushrooms from us, and she started taking them. And it was the woman herself who actually wrote me an email saying, a week ago, I couldn't even write. I could barely talk. I could barely listen to anybody talking to me. Like all I could do is watch TV. And yesterday I just reapplied for my job, and I'm going back to work next week. So thank you so much. And that's, such a powerful story, but it's a similar story to what we hear across the board for, somebody has anxiety. Maybe it's not even crippling anxiety. Maybe it's just something that, doesn't allow them to be themselves fully in their day to day. And they find, within a month or two of taking this mushroom, their lives are completely turned around. So yeah, we hear stories like this all the time, and it's across the board with really whatever you can imagine.
Tell us how your life has changed since you started taking your herbal remedies, aside from what you've mentioned. Like, what difference did you notice in yourself?
I mean, it's been a complete change. Although it's also, for me, it's been a process of growth and evolution. Like I've been going through. I've been working on my own issues since I got off benzodiazepines, which was 5-6 years ago. And it's, we all, as I discussed, we all have deep seated issues that stem from childhood that we're all affected by in our day to day. And for me, it's been the biggest tool to help me kind of uncover these and pull out these root systems that have formed throughout my life, and to witness and be able to see exactly where I've gone, where I'm not in line with who I truly am supposed to be. So for me, it's just been this like amazing, difficult at times, but beautiful like story of self-transformation and discovery and evolution. And yeah, all the external stuff is great too. Like we built this wonderful business. We have, I travel the country and speak at places. It's, yeah, I mean, so there's all that as well. But like really for me, the core of it is like, I'm becoming more and more the person that I know I'm supposed to be. And it's been a lot of self work and conscious work as well, but it's been greatly aided by these products.
Did you find that creating this business has helped you to create like a conscious community of other entrepreneurs interested in wellness as well?
For sure. Yeah. So I mean, and it's all come super organically. Like I meet a lot of people in this line of work, and we've just kind of developed this really wonderful, powerful community that I know is just going to continue growing and getting more expansive and pervasive. It's a really, really beautiful thing, and a really one of my favorite parts about doing what I do. Yeah.
Thank you. Tell us about your mission. What do you hope to do with this business?
I would like to have as large of a positive impact on the world as I possibly can. Like that's really it. Like I want to help people heal. I want to help people grow. I want to help people evolve. I'm really like, I just want to help people. So like, I don't know exactly what that looks like in the future. I don't know how big it's supposed to get. I have my hopes and dreams and ideas, but like really when it comes down to it, I just want to help as many people as I possibly can. And I want to help, I want to do that as best as I possibly can. Yeah.
Thank you. Tell us about your journey in terms of like your personal motivation and what you feel kind of got you to where you are now. What were your biggest
I was in active addiction like my whole life. I was an opiate addict in my 20s, and I used a lot of substances. I was an alcoholic, and I think that the coming out of that and finding what I was capable of and who I truly am, I think that's really been the biggest motivator. Really, like truthfully, it's a spiritual thing that's kind of hard to put into words. It's almost intangible and ineffable, but there's just this like, I just have this like really potent inherent drive to live out the mission, I suppose. Yeah.
Thank you. What is the most exciting thing that you look forward to doing with this particular business?
I'm really excited about, we're about to release our own podcast. We're about to start doing retreats and rituals all over ceremonies, I suppose. And then, I like the idea of starting to build a culture around this mushroom and these plants. So doing things like throwing festivals and throwing big events, things of that nature are all things that we're looking at. And, again, I don't know where this is going to go. I don't know when or if it's going to pan out, but we're doing what we can to make it happen. And that's a really exciting prospect. And then, just getting out into the public more and doing more larger speaking engagements and getting this information out to more people. And yeah, again, it all comes back to like helping more people. So if we can help, 3 times as many people by next year as we've helped by now, like that's amazing. And if we can keep that, progress going, then we'll have had a really wonderful positive impact on the world.
Thank you. You talked a lot about one particular herb. Can you tell us more about some others that you haven't mentioned that have that have an impact on a separate part of someone's health, for example.
Yeah. So Blue Lotus is another one of the products that we really, really love. It's our second bestseller. It's in some sense it has similar actions and similar effects to Amanita, but in other senses it's completely different. One of the things, if a lot of people that are in this type of world are really avid meditators, or at least they do some sort of spiritual practice, whether it's yoga or meditation or whatever it may be. Blue Lotus seems to be one of the best allies for things of that nature. So, and particularly with meditation, it seems to really like calm the waters of the mind and allows people to get much further, much deeper into these states than without it. And then it's also really profound for things like for dreaming and dream recollection, and which is also a really potent tool for one to use if they're looking to heal or to progress themselves in life. Dreams are like a really fascinating resource for information about where you are currently or where you might be going, and Blue Lotus is a really powerful tool for working with that. It's also it oftentimes propels people into lucid dream states, which is where you wake up in your dream in essence and have full control over the dream environment, which is a pretty fun experience and enlightening and can help in a myriad of ways.
Do you have other products as well? And if what do they offer in terms of remedy?
Yeah, so Kanna is a really great one. Kanna is a plant from Africa. It acts as an SNRI, very similarly to like antidepressant plants or medicine out there. So it has a very potent antidepressant effect. It's kind of nature's antidepressant, and it works extraordinarily well. And it's also non-addictive and non-habit forming, so there's no withdrawal when one comes off it. It's a much healthier, safer alternative to antidepressant medication. And then, or just if one's looking for a mood boost in their day-to-day, it works extraordinarily well. Kava is another really great one. Kava is a plant from the South Pacific, in the same family as black pepper. It has a root that the islanders will brew up into a tea and drink, and they'll use it kind of as a substitute for alcohol. So it has, and so like as an alcohol replacement, alcohol is so pervasive in this world, and it's also so unbelievably destructive. Kava is a really, really wonderful alternative for that. That's why you see things like kava bars popping up all over, Florida or other states around in the United States. I'm sure probably around the world, but kava is a really, really good option too. Those are kind of the four biggest hitters that we sell, that people will at least know a little bit about maybe, and that we sell the most of those.
Thank you. Tell us where entrepreneurs can go to find you.
Our website is So it's MN Nice Ethnobotanicals. So if you search this on Google, the website's www.mnniceethno.com. You can find us on, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, basically all the channels. If you type in MN Nice Ethno or MN Nice Ethnobotanicals, you'll find us. And then I've also done, a ton of podcasts and speaking arrangements, and you might see me at a convention in the next year or so near you. So who knows? Yeah, we're around.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential business titans, providing you with the insights to awaken to your full potential, so you can get paid to be yourself, find true happiness, and manifest anything you desire.